Hello there, my name is Michelle. I'm a personal trainer and yoga teacher in the Boston area. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a fun workout using the agility ball, the yoga ball, whatever you want to call it. You'll also need a set of weights, a light to medium set of weights. And we'll go ahead and get started. So make sure you got a nice clear space. Set your ball up. You can start with your feet a little wider than hips width apart so that your feet are really grounded. Your knees are over your heels. And then we're going to take the hands on the hips. We're going to do some circles, hip circles, kind of like you're doing a hula hoop. Start with those circles really small and just observe that movement as you move from one sitting bone to the other. And then there's that rock back and that full circle forward. So the pelvic tilts. And then the pelvis goes back. So here we start to work into some core work here. Also releasing tension in the back. Now let's reverse those circles. Making those nice circles with the hips, sticking your butt back and then pulling those hips forward. Trying to control that ball underneath you. All right, let's slow those circles down. And then we're going to work with some pelvic tilt. So this is where you want to think of really exaggerating that tuck of the pelvis. You can kind of see I'm really exaggerating. And then I'm going to tilt my tail back. We'll do that a few more times. Tucking as you tuck. Lift that low belly up and in and back. So again, this helps with mobility in the spine, hips, as well as creating that work with the core here. So really engage and lift that low belly up and in. And now we're going to start to find where is our neutral spine. So we're going to rock ourselves into that neutral spine where you're sitting up nice and tall. You want to make sure your shoulders are over your hips. And then really starting to find that core lock here. You're lifting that low belly up and in. The ribs are hugging in and down, so we're not flaring out into the ribs. Now take your fingertips to the shoulders. We're going to do little circles with the elbows. We're just going to warm up the upper body now. Gradually allowing those circles to get a little bit bigger. And then you can reverse those circles, circling back. And taking those circles gradually from that big circle to a smaller and smaller circle. And then eventually you can relax those arms. I'm feeling a little bit more warm in the shoulders. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our weights. I'm going to turn to the side for this next one. We're going to come into a bridge position and we're going to do a chest press. So just walking your feet forward till your back comes on to the ball. And you want to feel your head is supported so you don't have to stress the muscles along the neck to hold your head up. So the ball is right along the upper back and supporting the back of the head. You press to the heels and you lift the hips, really squeezing the glutes. It really forces you to lift those hips and you can feel that work happening pretty instantaneously. Now elbows are just a little bit lower than your shoulders and they are no lower than your chest height. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to press up and then lower down again, never letting those elbows, and you can check to the sides to make sure the elbows don't drop below your shoulders. And then you work towards finding that full extension as you push up, squeezing your pectoral muscles. Really strengthening here. You can feel how you're strengthening those muscles along the back of the body is to lift the hips, to create stability in the ball. You'll feel a little bit of that wiggling around. And your muscles are working really hard to create that sense of stability while maintaining this nice movement and alignment here. All right, let's do 3 more. 2, last one, push it up, and now we're going to lower those weights to our hips and roll our way onto our to sit back on the ball. Again, set yourself up nice and long, lifting up through the chest and bracing that core tight. We're going to do a shoulder press. The elbows are just a little in front of those shoulders, and you're going to press those weights straight up and down. Right? They don't have to touch overhead if you can just extend those weights straight up towards the sky. And then as you lower the elbows, again, never go lower than the shoulders. It's almost like a goal pose here as you look down the arms. There's that nice 90-degree bend in the elbows as you stop. And then there's that push-up. Again, remember to sit up tall. And let's work that core by really hugging the belly in nice and tight. Feel the waistline hugging in and the back of the body hugging in. So you've got that strong foundation. And from that foundation, you're pushing all the way up through the arms, creating a nice strong upper back and shoulders. You can even feel this in your biceps as well. Let's go for 4 more. 3, nice and slow, no rush. 2, and 1. All right, we'll lower those weights back down. And then we're going to go through these 2 exercises one more time. So coming back onto your back, walking your feet forward. Make sure you're fully supported here. Press through your heels, lift your hips. Don't let those hips sag. Elbows, shoulder height, and then we press. Pushing it straight up to the sky. So really building some nice muscles for that push and pull kind of action. Pull that belly in nice and tight. Good squeeze. Great, let's do 5 more. So 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, push it up. And lower down, bring those weights to your hips. Very slowly. Gets a little tricky with the ball. Find your way to a seat. Get yourself positioned properly first. Knees over heels. Shoulders over hips. Core tight. Let's lift those weights up. Keep your chest up. Shoulders down the back as you reach up. All right, second round, you should be feeling a little bit more of that work. Pushing up towards the sky. Finding that full extension. And again, you stop at that goalpost shape. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Wrist right over those elbows, creating that nice 90-degree bend. Let's do 5 more. You got it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pushing it up. Great. Let's lower those weights down. Stand on up. You can put your weights down towards the floor. And now we're going to work here. Coming onto our knees, we're going to come behind the ball. All right, your fingertips are on the ball, and I want you to come so that your shoulders are over your hips and hips are over your knees. Right? If you're tight here in the front of your hip flexors, I really, really want you to think of squeezing your butt cheeks, your glutes. You'll hear me say that only a million times. Squeeze those glutes. And then you are up tall. The core is nice and locked. So we're really thinking about the core here. And now we're going to push the ball away. Your hips can move back. And what you want is to think of extension and long spine. And then as you come up, you pull that ball into, and your back is flat. So it's a lot about this hip hinge, hinging from the hips as you reach forward. Hug the belly in tight. This activates the core. This isn't a terribly hard exercise. It's actually quite nice. It prepares us really for the next big exercise, big move coming up next. Squeeze those glutes as you come up. Engage that core, especially as you push that ball away. Great. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. So here's where the work comes. The elbows are going to come onto the ball. I like to interlace my fingers, making sure my elbows are right underneath my shoulders. And then you can start to step your feet back. And you could do this with your knees on the ground if that feels better as you lean forward, and you'll feel that catch where the muscles hug in. Now here we're just going to be holding it here. We're going to challenge ourselves just to simply hold this position, isolating the muscles. And you might even see the ball is kind of wiggling around for me and maybe wiggling for you, and you're just doing your best job just to stay in this position, to breathe. Don't hold that breath. Squeeze and hug your belly muscles in nice and tight. Hold it here. You got it. For 5, 4, keep holding it. 3, hold it. 2, squeeze your belly, squeeze your glutes, hug the quads. And 1, nice work. Lower your knees down towards the ground. And now we'll go ahead, we're gonna do that again. So hands come to the ball. You're on your knees. I want you to squeeze your glutes to sit up tall, chest lifted, and now push the ball away. Coming up, really think of that spine moving long, creating length in the spine. So you might feel a nice stretch as you reach your fingertips forward and stretch your hips towards the back of the room. Yeah, as you pull those hips, the ball forward, squeeze the glutes. That's going to help the front of those hip flexors. Great, let's do 4 more. As you push out, press down onto the ball, and get a nice stretch between the shoulder blades. Let's do 1 more. Let's press it out. Hold it for a moment just so I can talk a little bit about pressing down. Feel the shoulder blades spread, hug your belly in tight, and then roll that ball back in. All right, you ready for 1 more round of the plank position? Elbows, interlace the fingers, make sure those elbows are under your shoulders, and then we'll lift up. So activating your heels, you want to make sure those heels are hiding right behind the ball of the foot. So lift those heels, pushing through the toes. And then lift the kneecaps like you're hugging your kneecaps back, and hug your quads, the front of your thighs, back into the bone. Squeeze your glutes. That's super important, right? Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Belly hugging in tight. Pushing down through the elbows. You can feel now, spread the shoulder blades wide and lift with the sternum between the shoulder blades. Ready? We're going to count to 10 this time, or back from 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Ooh, those always get you. It definitely creates a little bit more of that instability surface with the ball, and that's the purpose of doing it with that ball. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to come back to standing. As you come back to standing, you're going to need your weights, so bend your knees, pick up your weights. Slide that ball out of the way. It's always got a mind of its own, right? And now we're going to do a little bit for the upper back and shoulders. So bending those knees just slightly, finding that set position with your feet hip width apart. Again, a little bend in the knees. Lift the low belly up and in. Lengthen the tail down so you feel the core engage, and then lift those shoulders up, back, and down. Front raise. We're going to go front, lifting those weights just in front of the shoulders. Ease it slow all the way down, very light. Pulling it up, try not to sway or swing here. You're very steady and strong. Nice. Let's see, we can do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to take it to the side. So side raise up and down. Little micro bend in the elbows. Making sure your chest stays lifted and those shoulders are not creeping up by the ears, right? As oftentimes as the muscles get tired, those lats, those muscles along the back, up through the shoulders, we start to lift up through the tops of our shoulders here. So really trying to let those shoulders stay down away from the ears. Right, as we come to that home stretch, we've got 5 more. Working with these high reps for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Give a little shoulder roll. We're going to do one more round. Again, back to your front raise. Take those weights right in front of your thighs. A little bend in the knees. Check your stance. Lift that belly in. Chest up, shoulders back and down, and lift. You can pull it right up, pause at the top, lower it down slow. Lift, hold, slow on that way down. That's where that resistance is. Again, no swinging here. Try not to rock. Really feel your feet grounding. Feel that core nice and tight. Nice work here. Let's give me 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice and slow on the way down. Shoulder roll, taking it to the side raise. So out and down. Right, notice if one arm is stronger than the other. You might start to already notice that if you haven't already. Again, keep that chest lifted. Keep the shoulders down the back. Make sure you're not locking on the knees. Little micro bend in the knees so you can really ground down through your feet. Stay with me. We're almost there. Getting to that home stretch. Let's do 5 more. We'll call this 4. 3. Slow it down. 2, whoo, and 1. Great. Let's go ahead and bend your knees. Put your weights down towards the ground. We're going to go ahead and grab that ball again. We're going to come onto our back. Final portion here of class is coming onto your back. I'm going to have that ball. And you're going to come with your feet just hip width apart. Heels on the ground, so the knees are over your heels. And I'm going to have you press the ball into your thighs, and then your hands come right in front of the ball, pressing into the ball. So I want you to feel this kind of, what we're going to work on is the core lock, right? The core lock here is where you start to pull the ribs in and down, and then the hips lift up towards the ribs. So there's a slight tuck of the tail. Not too much. We don't want to flatten the low back. I'm going to use the word to pull the back towards the floor, but at the same time you want that little bit of that natural curvature of the spine. But just a little lift in that curve, and then from that curve there's that sense of hugging up and in, the sides of the body hug in, and the belly hugs in. All right, now pressing the ball in, you feel that lock. We're going to do what I call a heel slide. So just the right leg we're going to work. You're going to lift that right heel to hover up off the floor. And then you're going to slide that right foot forward. You're going to keep pressing the ball into that left leg. And then you're going to slide that heel back into the ball. And then it touches the ball, and then it extends back out again. Right? And so here you can feel that subtle movement of the hips possibly. And I want you to try your best to try to keep the hips stable and even so that there's not rocking or compensating. And if there is, just kind of notice where it is, because this is all about a mindful movement here, right? Not a big movement, nothing aggressive, and that allows us to really feel what's going on in our body. Last one, and then you can bring that right foot to the floor. Now pressing that ball, you're going to kind of shift it more towards that right thigh, pressing evenly through both hands. And then again, the left leg extends and comes back in. Now it's just going to go out only as far as it feels good for you. If you feel tension in the back, tension sometimes in that hip flexor, don't extend the leg out all the way. So you want to always work within that range of motion where you can keep the core lock, keep your form, right? That's part of the form, is that core lock, as well as making sure that it feels good in your body. You know, we work through muscular strength, like muscular pain when you feel the muscles start to get tired, but no pain in the joints, especially the sacrum, the low back, the hips. Great. We'll do one more. Keep pressing your hands into that ball and into the knees, and then we'll bring the feet to the floor. All right, so now we're going to take that ball up into our hands so you can lift it off the legs, and really keeping your core in tight here. We're going to slowly start to lift the feet up off the floor, hug your belly in, and now we're going to rock just a little over, knees to the left, ball to the right, hover, come back to the center. Second side, a little twist here. Again, working within the range where you feel good in your body. Again, there's that control. Oh, it feels good, that twist. You know, sometimes the movement can start a little smaller, and then gradually you make that movement a little bit bigger. Ooh, a little pop there. It's a good one. I could tell I had some tightness there. Belly in tight. Navel to spine. Let's do one more finishing. Woo. That was a nice one. That's a little more release. So we're going to work and the next phase progression rather of this exercise. So if you felt good with your feet on the floor but it was a little too easy, then you're going to lift the feet up off the floor, and you want to have the knees right over the hips. So again, choose what's right for you, and we're going to start just that right leg out and in. Out and in. So core lock is important. And this one kind of sneaks up on you. You want to keep pressing into the ball, into the knee. Keep the knee over the hip. Keep that structure, and then there's that movement. Whew. Two more. We'll switch to the other side. All right, pause for a moment. Reset. If you got to lower your knees, you can. And then we're going to do the second side. We're going to do 10. 9. Belly tight. Try not to twist. Try not to let yourself compensate here. Nice work. We got 5 more. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Nice work. We'll bring the ball in. Feet to the floor. Lift the ball in front of your shoulders. Again, pull those knees in towards your chest. Pull the belly to the spine, and then we rock side to side. And your gaze can stay on the ball. So your head can kind of just rock. Maybe your twist gets a little bigger. Again, using that core to move you. So it's not just the legs or the ball and the arms, but feel that control from your core, from your abdomen. Last one. And then go ahead and release. You can slide that ball out of the way. There we go. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Rock a little side to side. And try to see if you can take your knees a little bit wider. Allowing your head to rest down onto the ground. Take a deep breath in. Slow breath out. Great. You're going to grab both hands to your right knee. Extend your left leg long. And then with that right knee, you're going to do a little rocking. You're going to bring your right knee towards the right. Try to keep your left hip on the floor and then rock it to the center. So you can take that left hand onto your left hip now and just kind of feel that both hips are grounded and you work releasing and opening. You might start to circle that right knee around. Hug your right knee in and extend your right leg up. Do a little point and flex. A last little circle and release. Have that right knee in one more time, and then we'll switch. We'll pull that left knee in and extend the right leg. Take that right hand to your right thigh. Really press down through that right thigh, and then we're going to open and close. Open and close. Hug your belly in. Feel those hips grounding. So there's still that core work within this stretch and release session. So you wind down. And you can circle the knee around. Great, and now extend that left leg up. Just do a little point and flex. You can take your hands behind your thighs, your calf. Just release there. Feel that nice blood flow from your feet down through your legs. And then we'll go ahead, we'll hug both knees in. Extend both legs up. And then hug your knees in. Do that a couple times up. Flexing your ankles, point your toes, bend the knees. Straighten the legs, flex the ankles, spread the toes, bend the knees. One more time. Reach it up and point those toes, lower the knees down. Great, and then we're going to go ahead and just roll on over to your side. You can sit on up, and that concludes our workout. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.